Maitlis.
Good evening. This time there were no leaks and the findings were both blunt and unambiguous. An independent investigation into the Alex Salmond affair has found that Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon did not breach the ministerial code of conduct in her handling of the case. The inquiry, led by Ireland's former Chief Prosecutor James Hamilton, exonerated Miss Sturgeon on all 4 cases it examined. There are redactions within the text and he calls her failure to recall a key meeting at the end of March 2018 regrettable, but does not imply she chose to mislead Parliament about what she knew when. The Scottish Conservatives, who've tabled a vote of no confidence in Miss Sturgeon, say they respect the judgment, but that the report does not change what they call overwhelming evidence she misled Parliament, wasted £500,000 and let down the women who sought justice. The report by MSPs on the Holyrood Committee, leaked late last week, will officially be published tomorrow. So, where does this leave the strength of the SNP, trust in the Scottish Parliament and the wider question of the direction Scotland takes next? We begin with this report by Alan Little. Thank you very much. Thank you to all 3 of you. Thank you. In a message to EU leaders, the Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin said today that he's vehemently opposed to the idea the EU could impose an export ban on vaccines going to the UK, describing it as a retrograde step. The warning comes as countries have tried to step back from so-called vaccine war, which sees countries pitted against each other for supplies, contract fulfilment and exports. The row between the EU and the UK has grabbed the limelight here, of course, but in truth, the issues do go further and deeper. Supply chains across the world are being affected. Pfizer-BioNTech say their own vaccine requires 280 materials from 86 suppliers in 19 countries, including this one. No state, as politician after politician has repeated, can work through this alone. So what happens if a third wave is now on the way? How does vaccine protectionism sit with every nation's desire to keep its people safe? Here's Nick Watt. Steve Bates, is it down to Boris Johnson to start telling AstraZeneca where to put the vaccines now?
I don't think it is.
Of course it is.
Pieces. That's precisely why you don't need Britain to import as many. When you look at the problems, for example, that India is having with its supply, and you look at the rising number of cases there, when you look at the other countries that are short, not least in Europe, do we need to adapt to sort of fit with the realities of the world now?
I'm sure we do need to adapt.
Cyber and space technology is in, traditional ships and aircraft are out, and the military services numbers are being shrunk back to their lowest level in nearly 2 centuries. Do these changes speak to a modernising defence force or leave us open to greater risks from traditional enemies and traditional warfare? Here's Mark Urban at the wall. Mark.
Apparently credible, Emily.
Well, thanks very much indeed. Now, where are all the microchips? It seems almost impossible to believe, but there is now a growing shortage of the thing that, it seems, powers the world. A dearth of microchips is hitting personal computer manufacturing, car production and the entire cell phone market. The shortage, unsurprisingly perhaps, a result of a supply crunch induced by COVID, as well as fallout from the US trade war with China. So what happens now? Here's our LA-based technology reporter, James Clayton.
Time and again, these coasts become